Welcome to Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, into wellness, into fitness, introduce you to some celebrities throughout the greater La Crosse area. Today, spotlight shines bright on Black River Falls Tiger boys basketball. Hey, you ready for this? Coulee Conference champs, 18-6 record. With us all the way from Black River Falls, assistant coach Todd Anderson, Ethan Anderson, and Nate Becker. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us, Terry.
Well, a beautiful day for a drive from Black River. The boys got half the day off from school, but as we tape the show, just a few days removed from a significant loss at Black River, a 65-60 win back on January 15th, but a loss ahead 28-24 at halftime, and then outscored 51-24 in the second half at Black River. A full house. Coach Todd Anderson. That must have been tough.
It was tough, yeah, Terry. You know, reflecting back, I mean, the team had a great season overall, finishing 18-6 and 11-1 in conference. GET had won the conference, I think, the last 8 years in a row or something like that. And so split during the season, and we knew it was going to be a huge game and great atmosphere. And you know, you really have to give GET a lot of credit. I mean, they came out in the second half and made some adjustments defensively and shot the ball extremely well in the second half. And you know, with sports in general, I mean, that's you know, it didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but it was you know, we're very, very satisfied with the overall season when we reflect back. But again, you have to give GET a lot of credit. And you know, we made them take shots that we felt comfortable, you know, as far as, you know, defending them, and they made them. So they shot very well and played very well, and you know, we didn't make the adjustments that we had to make in the second half, more so offensively, I would say, and that's the way it goes.
Well, and the guy next to you, Ethan Anderson. I think our viewers are well aware of Ethan Anderson because you've been in the paper more than anybody that I know in the Coulee region, and your success, which we're going to talk about. But the guy sitting next to you, Ethan, your dad. Now, let's go back to that. The horn goes off. Black River Falls High School, the last game you ever play. There's your dad and your family, and it's all over with. Describe the emotions.
Yeah, it was really tough to know that that was my last high school varsity game ever, and I just went up to my dad and gave him a big hug and told him I loved him and thanked him for everything he did. But I know it's not the end of the world. My life will carry on, and I'm fortunate to have a career in college.
Well, your life will carry on in a big way, and we're going to discuss that throughout this interview. Was it tough, Nathan, too, knowing you're a junior, you're a sixth man, but I mean, you're part of the emotions of that loss, and a lot of people thought, frankly, that you would come out on top playing at home and having that edge. What were your views and your emotion, and describe some of your other players?
It was very emotional once the final buzzer went off, knowing I would never play with these guys again. But I know we played our hardest, and that's all I could ask for.
Well, let's just talk about that for a minute. Okay, you have guys like Ethan that set tremendous examples, and we're going to discuss that, and other seniors. But what's your takeaway that you're going to build on when you're called upon next year as a senior? What have you learned from Ethan and other seniors?
I've learned a lot, actually. I've learned how to be a better team player, following after Ethan, and I'll be a good team player next year and help guys out if they need it, and hope we can win some games.
I talked to the head coach, Dave Cawley, and he told me that next year Nate Becker is going to be called upon to assume a different role. Are you ready for that?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely ready. It's going to be a fun season. I can't wait.
Good. Well, Todd, been a friend for many, many years. Grew up going to games with your dad. I'm sure your dad, a friend of mine, passed away not too many years ago, and a great friend. And Sam Young, a legend. You refereed. you played. You're a 3-sport athlete there, all conference in each sport. Talk about some of those memories with your dad and playing and officiating with Sam Young.
Well, Terry, yeah, we go back quite a few years, and I remember actually playing youth baseball and you coaching back in the day, the Boys and Girls Club baseball team, going back quite a few years. But yeah, I mean, my dad was a key guy in my life, obviously, and kind of provided the path for really my interest in early on in athletics and competitiveness and all that type of thing. And you know, grew up. My dad and Sam were ref partners for a lot of years, and as a young boy, I used to hop in the back of the car with my dad and Sam, and those two guys in the front seat, both smoking cigarettes, while I'm sitting in the back trying to roll my window down, and as we had the ball games, and it was really interesting thinking back, you know, today and reflecting about listening to those conversations and talking about Sam was coaching the high school team at the time, knowing that someday I'd play for Sam. And, you know, you reflect back and you think about all the things that you learned from that. And then I was fortunate not only to play for Sam in high school and taught me a lot of real life lessons in regards to, you know, helping me become the person I am today, and a lot of real positive things. And Sam still attended our basketball games this last year and provided plenty of commentary after the games and didn't hesitate at all in telling us that. And then fortunate to you know, team up with my dad and refereed with him for a number of years, and you know, that was a wonderful experience being part of that, and now transitioning you know, from there into the coaching role as an assistant for Coach Cowley and working with the youth, and I've been coaching, you know, for about 10 years. It's very rewarding to be involved in helping people, and I really enjoy it. And not only the X's and O's, which you know, to be honest with you, is the easy part. It's all the other things that I think that I try to provide, you know, to these young men as they work through the program, and you know, we're focusing really on what I call the 3 C's, you know, the classroom, the community, and then ultimately the basketball court, and that's a culture that we've really tried to incorporate into our program, and I've been very adamant about you know, that type of focus.
Ethan Anderson, again, 3 sports stars, 5 times all-conference in football, basketball, and in baseball, and you excelled in all of them. You have a favorite?
I think it depends on the season. I've put the most time in basketball with AAU and the summer stuff, and I think that's my first passion, but football and baseball go hand in hand with them. So I'm just a competitive guy. I like everything.
That I know, and of course, knowing your whole family, and your family's been a big part of your success story, not just your father, who's an assistant coach, but your siblings and your mom, and talk about how important that has been.
Yeah, without them, I wouldn't be here. So they provide the support and the transportation and the love, and without them.
Encouragement.
Yep, that's right.
Ever the scolding, and ever like, you should have done it a different way?
Yeah,
you know?
well, that goes along with it, and that's how I want it. So that's how I get better.
Good way to say it. I'm sure Nathan has a family that is behind him too, every step of the way.
Yep, my mom and dad are always at every game, so it's nice having them there encouraging and supporting.
We said at the beginning that you were a 6th man.
Yep.
Come off the bench and knowing your role, and I don't know if everyone understands the importance of a 6th man. And when you're called on, you're expected to produce and step right in. How did you see your role?
My role is coming off the bench and creating a spark on defense. I key my play off of defense, so yeah.
So defense, like Coach Knight would say, defense is the great equalizer.
Yep.
That's your skill set, defense.
Yep.
Did the guy next to you, Ethan, who scored 27 points a game, did he ever play defense?
Oh, yeah. He was one of our best defenders.
Really?
Yep.
An all-around guy?
Yep.
Well, we're going to step aside just for a minute. When we come back, we're going to get more into introducing you to exactly who these student athletes are from Black River Falls right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team.
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports again today. The spotlight on Black River Falls boys basketball, Cooley Conference champs, great season. Assistant Coach Todd Anderson, Ethan Anderson, Nathan Becker. Well, talked to Coach Dave Crowley a little bit last week, and here's what he said about Ethan Anderson. In coaching 25 years, Ethan is the hardest worker that he has ever coached. Some school will feel as though they have won the proverbial lottery when he makes his final choice. Can you believe that statement?
That's awesome that he said that. I just try to go day by day and enter the gym early and leave late. So I just want the best for the team and for me to personally get better every day.
Good philosophy. It says a lot about who you are. Well, you're probably not ready to reveal this, but there's millions of people watching this show from all over the world are probably really anxious to hear when Ethan Anderson will make his decision and who are the teams and schools in the running.
I'm still not sure when I'm going to make my decision. I actually get that question a lot. A lot of Division III interests, including lacrosse, Oshkosh, River Falls, St. Norbert, and some Division II. I was offered by Moorhead a couple weeks ago, some interest from Winona State and Southwest Minnesota State.
So there's no hurry, and of course you don't have to reveal it here today, but maybe you could send me text me when you make your decision, so I'm one of the first media people to know what's going on. I would sure like to have you at a place called UW Lacrosse.
I can definitely do that.
That's a possibility?
Yep. For
Be
sure.
a lot of people that would be at those games, I can tell you that.
Yeah, a lot of family around. That'd be important to me. But
So your role model, who inspired you? You started playing when you're very young. Both you and Nathan and many other Black River Falls players got involved when you were young. Who inspired you and kind of encouraged you and like gave you the spark when you were very young?
I think my mom and dad were really good role models for me. Just hearing the stories from my dad back when he played and from my uncles, I think that just inspired me to work hard, and hopefully one day I'd be just as good or better than them. So that was my goal.
And Grandpa Mike, probably.
And Grandpa Mike. Mike, as we've talked before, Mike Anderson, well-known community member in Black River and grandfather to Nathan, father to Todd, knew him really well. What's your favorite memory of Mike Anderson?
When he'd go to our games, I can still hear it in my head with him encouraging and yelling and sometimes yelling at the refs too. I just really wish he was there. I really wish he was here to watch because he'd love it.
Well, hollering at the refs? Maybe I was working one of those games too, but I probably deserved it actually. So 27 points per game, Ethan. I did a little research. 11th in the state behind Quan Jackson and names like Tyler Hero, Drew Blair. Oh, pretty incredible names. They'll all go on to play college. And 27 points a game. That was your, obviously, your goal was to score a lot of points, but you're a complete player. Your versatility, defensively, being selfless, I mean, is part of your, so reflect on maybe some defining points in your high school career.
I think Jack Rue coming before me, I learned a lot from him, his hard work, and that kind of set me up for my junior junior and senior year. And, you know, I don't really care as much about the points as wins. So we've been improving every year in that aspect, and that's the most important part.
Any disappointments as you reflect back?
Just not completing the goal of going to state and winning a championship, but to do what we did in the 4 years from, I think it was 6 years ago, we were 2-20 to 18-6 now. That's a really big step forward.
Well, Nathan, you're a junior. You played for a lot of coaches. For our viewers, define for you the kind of coach you like to play for.
I like to play for a coach that gets in your face if you're not working hard, gets after you, pushes you to do your best. Because I feel like coaches that are more so laid back and don't care, you won't be as good and you won't get as much out of your players.
You maybe didn't know this, but you just described an effective teacher, too. That challenges you in the classroom.
Yep.
Doesn't make it easy, because that doesn't help you at all.
Nope.
How is coaching? Now, you played for Sam Young. You played collegiately, Todd. Real briefly, tell me, now coaching, how has coaching changed over the years?
That's a great question, Terry. And you know, playing for Sam, I mean, I define him as an old school, you know, obviously, guy. I mean, he let you know it right away and didn't hold anything back. There was no gray area with Sam. I still tell the story today that I was fortunate to play with him for 3 years, play for Coach Young for 3 years. I'll never forget, it was about 3/4 of the way through my senior year, and this goes back quite a few years, back in the early 80s. He looked at me in the huddle and said, you've finally become a basketball player. And, you know, I still remember that to this day. He was not a guy with a lot of compliments. He was focused more on things that you can do to get better. Today's game and coaching today, I think the student athletes, for whatever reason, there's not a lot of that anymore. I think the game's changed, and I think the way you have to, in general, handle kids and players is different today. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I think it's just different, and you don't see as many of the old school mentalities as far as coaches go, and the way they handle players and so on and so forth as, and I don't know if they could handle it, you know, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've talked, actually, you described my coach when I played, Wayne Lucas. You probably remember that name.
I remember the name, yeah.
And he was that way, and I was that way early in my career, and then I changed, unfortunately, but because the old school way, the John Shelton way, he was a great coach.
John Shelton, yep.
No longer acceptable, basically, and I agree with that. It's all now about relationship building and so on, but you still need to challenge your athletes, but you do it in a different way. I've talked to Coach Bennett about this, a lot of different people, and they certainly started out with the old school, and they've changed too. Ethan, describe the kind of coach you want your son to play for someday.
I think I'd rather have my son play for a guy like Coach Young instead of a guy that sugarcoats stuff. And how I look at it is, if he's yelling at you, he cares. So he wants you to get better if he's yelling at you because he's passionate. And if he just kind of lays back and doesn't say much, I feel like he doesn't care as much.
That's refreshing to hear, because a lot of athletes don't think that, but that's, again, says a lot about you. Well, you're a leader, too. National Honor Society, Tiger Investment Club. If I asked people around Black River Falls High School to describe you and your leadership skills, what would they say?
I'm a quiet leader. I lead as example. I'm not as talkative as some, but you know, I give my input and lead as example.
And your leadership, you said in your profile that you want to everyone to show that you're a positive example. You want to encourage others, and you also have a philosophy of life that's pretty profound for a young 18-year-old. And what is that? Something to live life to the fullest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you feel you have done that?
I think so. I live life day by day, and like I said, just try to get better as a person and as an athlete every day.
What's your first thought when you get up in the morning? How are you going to approach the day?
Well, it's hard for me to get up in the morning for school, but
get to bed at night, will you?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just thinking about getting through the day and getting to practice. That's my favorite part of the day.
You enjoy each day, though.
Yep, that's right.
And I'm sure Nathan enjoys each day too. And do you have, as a young junior, do you have a philosophy of life?
Everything I do, I give 100%. So my philosophy is just give it all. There's no point in doing anything if you don't try. So
leave it all on the court.
You bet.
You a multi-sport athlete too?
I used to play baseball, but not anymore. I played football this year though.
Good for you. Well, I'm sure the football season will be better than it was last year. I'm confident of that.
Sure hope so.
Because it's always been a great program. And Ethan, part-time hobbies. What do you like to do? Is there any room in your life outside of sports? Probably not.
Yeah, my life's based around sports, but that's what I love. I'd not rather have it any other way. But we usually, in the summer, try to make time for trips. We go up to Canada every year, so that's kind of nice to get away, from the society and go outdoors and spend some time with family. And hanging out with friends and family is...
You don't let Tia come along there, do you?
Oh, no.
By the way, Tia's a friend of mine that happens to be your sister, Todd.
Yes.
And she has 3 boys that will probably be on the show someday if I'm still around to do it,
Absolutely.
which will be a few years. But so the next, you're a junior here, you have another year, but Ethan, the next chapter of your life is about to begin. Now, we're not going to fast forward to May yet, but it's close. So
it's going really fast. It's hard to believe.
I know. And then college, and 10 years from now, what are you going to be doing?
My plan and goal is to take over the family business one day. So I want to major in finance or accounting in college, and hopefully I'll be lucky enough to do what my dad does.
And you're going to heal right into the sunset, and you'll take over the big office?
I don't think it'll be that easy.
Well, you're going to keep coaching too, Todd?
Yeah, that's the plan. Coach Cully and I talked about it the other night after reflecting on the season, and we talked about it, and we have a, we haven't accomplished all our goals yet, and I think we're building a nice foundation, and I think we're going to continue building on that. So that's the plan.
Good. I hope that continues.
Yeah.
A lot of people hope it. Well. A lot of people, even officials, hope you stay with it.
Absolutely.
But this has been a fun show, and coming all the way from Black River as we tape the show today, it's been a pleasure to have you on. We appreciate it. Again, Coach Todd Anderson, Ethan Anderson, Nathan Becker. So thank you for being on the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Terry. Appreciate it.
We'll be back with some closing thoughts. Right in.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. I hope you enjoyed our profile on the Black River Falls basketball program. Cooley Conference champs Ethan Anderson, Coach Todd Anderson, and the junior Nathan Becker. Well, we're working hard to bring you some additional guests as we look to our spring season. We hope that we'll be able to bring a variety of sports and people to this show. If you have a thought on a guest or a topic, please contact us here at KQEG. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping you will have an active and a healthy week.